What is up, party people? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another World Cup Daily here on the Cup Chasers. Of course, Canada have fallen to Morocco. And what in the world did we watch in that France versus Paraguay game? What a disgrace from the Paraguayans. An embarrassment, in fact, is what I'll call it. And of course, the English go to Mexico City for a clash with the host nation at Azteca. Going to be absolutely crazy, that one. All kinds of controversy, all kinds of stories coming out about it. And of course, the Nordic Meat Shield, Thor himself, up against World Cup heritage in the Brazilians. So there's lots to get to today, lots to look at today. And of course, go ahead and smash up those likes before we get into it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. It would certainly be an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to the community. Make sure you got the notification bell on, sharing it on all the socials with all your friends, your loved ones, your grandma, your cousin, everybody who you know. Get it out there. You know the drill, of course. But let's start with Canada. What a good I thought that Canada had a great performance in that first half. I was very impressed with the tactics. Of course, yesterday on the show, we did call for them to be more on the front foot. We knew that if they sat back and let Morocco have the ball, it would definitely be a struggle for them, and that Canada would get pinned back. They definitely were not going to be able to defend for 90 minutes. And I think Jesse Marsh knew that that was the case. And so they were on the front foot. Good morning, Mom. I hope you're well. They were on the front foot, of course, and they, at least in defense, at least in the way they were pressing, right? So they were clogging the middle of the pitch. And as we've seen in the previous games from Morocco, this is where they like to operate. They like to slowly kind of build their possession forward, and they like to go through the middle with the likes of Buati in there, who's had a breakout tournament. It's been very, very good, keeping it ticking, making sure he is connecting the likes of Saibari to the back line. And Canada disrupted that completely. Anytime the ball went into the middle of the park, it was a swarm. 3-4 guys, Eustachio, especially the number 7 for Canada, at kind of the base of their midfield would kind of come alive and what's the word I'm looking for? When they passed the ball, it was like the trigger for his press to make sure that they were hustled and harried in the middle of the park and unable to really get any balls from back to front through the middle of the park. And it was very interesting that Morocco didn't really adapt at the hydration break. I was very surprised that they didn't switch that up at the first hydration break. As we've seen, there have been tactical switches in these breaks that have changed momentum a lot, and I don't think that much changed in that first one for the Canadians. They unfortunately, when you are doing this kind of a game plan, it's kind of one-sided. It's like a half of the game plan, and it's the defensive half of it, and it worked well, especially in that first half. Kept Morocco to absolutely nothing. They didn't do anything in that first half. What's up, Lumen? Hope you are well. Yeah, they did nothing in that first half, the Canadians, the Moroccans, and it was because of the way Canada were pressing. It was because of the way Canada were clogging the middle of the pitch. And obviously sad to see Saibari go out with that injury. Is definitely not what you want to see, especially since he was having such a good tournament. Had 3 goals in 4 games for Morocco now. So that was absolutely, kind of really sad to see. But they were able to get another man to step up. And in that second half, it was a simple tactical switch, an obvious tactical switch, but you got to give them credit for doing it. So the Moroccans, you could tell immediately in the we'll call it the third quarter, the in between halftime and that second hydration break around the 70th minute. It was all down the right-hand side. It was all Hakimi. It was all, they were trying to get to the wings. They weren't even trying to find Boadi in the middle. At one point, after like 20 minutes of this, you could see Boadi was coming wide. He had his boots on the touchline at one point, trying to get in the game, because that's all they were doing was going down the side. And I was a little bit sad, really, to see that Canada never adjusted to that. And even after the first goal, it was like in the 55th minute, they still didn't adjust. And they definitely never recovered from being pegged back there. I think it's a little bit of inexperience, really. They just weren't able to kind of recover from the shock of getting scored on like that after they had played so well in the first half. And maybe it's one of those things where Jesse Marsch said, all right, we're just going to continue with these tactics. We're going to continue doing what was successful in that first half, maybe up the intensity a little bit more, maybe get on the ball a little bit more. But then all that's just like kind of out the window when you get scored on. I mean, you could see it. You could see it in Jesse Marsch's face when they got scored on. Like 5 or 6 minutes after they got scored on, he was shaking his head. He was sitting down. He had his head down. He was like, damn, I don't know what we are going to do. It's never over after one goal, especially in this World Cup, says Lumen. Canada should have normally tried not to concede the second goal. That would have kept them in the game. Always a possibility to equalize. And see, that's the thing, right? It looked like they were caught in between. It looked like they were caught in between that, and they were caught in between, now we have to go for it, right? But see, the thing is, Canada, we've never really seen them have any comeback power. We've certainly not seen them be able to, switch it on like that and change the tactics up, especially in the middle of the game, like not at halftime or not at the hydration break, and it's really tough to go from a defensive mindset to, all right, now let's get in the channels. Let's find the spaces. Let's move their players around. It's just a switch from we're going to keep it tight and compact and not let them do anything to, okay, we have to get up and we have to do something. We have to put them under pressure. I don't think Canada really ever did. I don't think they ever really did put them under a whole lot of pressure, and at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is, and I agree with Lumen here that, if they would have sat in and continued along with what they're doing, obviously they would have had to have made they would have had to have made an adjustment to give more cover on the wings, give more cover on the outside. And it may have played into Morocco's hands, but once they opened up, it was over for me. Once they opened up, and it's just like, Morocco are patient. They're going to pass through the lines. The spaces are going to be there now, and they were. And at the end of the day, you got to big up Owani. I'm terrible with names. Owani, I believe, is his name. The guy that got the brace, scoring 2 goals, and that's what you need in the World Cup. You can out tactic some teams. Some teams who don't necessarily have absolute superstars. You can out tactic them, right? But at the end of the day, you also, even in your tactics, even in your tactical defensive approach, you also have to find a goal scorer. You also have to find that guy, the guy that's going to step up and get the goals and finish when it's on a plate and finish when you get your opportunities. Canada just didn't. They had opportunities. They created, a few chances, but I mean, Tajon Buchanan was not in it for the first 20 minutes of the second half at all. It was all down the right-hand side for Morocco, and they never really got their best players into the game in an offensive, attacking kind of way for Canada. And when they did get a couple of chances, they weren't able to finish. We're not able to finish at all. Jesse Marsch should not have let players start with such a high tempo. If you do that and don't score, then it's difficult to maintain that tempo for 90 minutes. Yeah, there certainly is that, of course, but I think that it was working. I think that it was working really well. And the thing is with Jesse Marsch, I'm a fan. I like Jesse Marsch, but his in-game management. And at the end of the day, for me, That's really where the manager earns his check, where he earns his money, is the in-game management. I thought it was a great setup to start. And no, I didn't think they were going to be able to last. That was my question. I actually had that question looming in the first half. I was like, are they going to be able to maintain this? Because I don't think they are. Montreal-born Morocco keeper made the save with his left foot, which might have changed the outcome. Yep, that's true. That's true. You got to have your keeper standing up as well. And Morocco certainly did. And that's kind of my point. Morocco had the guys. They had the people that the guys that stepped up. And it's like, I'm going to put my name on this. I'm going to score 2 goals today, and I'm going to get us through the next round. Canada didn't have anybody to step up like that. But I also think as far as the in-game management goes, that Jesse Marsch was certainly out-coached in this game. And it seemed like it was a simple kind of tactic to maybe switch it back after the Moroccan switch, but he never really did. And here he is, the man of the hour.
What's up?
In the building. I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. How's it? It's good to be on here on a wonderful Sunday morning. Happy Sunday to people. Post 4th of July. Like and subscribe and do the comments and everything, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was just kind of getting to the end of the Canada game, and I was musing on Jesse Marsch's in-game tactics. I don't think they necessarily gave up, Mom. They didn't know how to respond to getting scored on. And that was kind of my point that I was going on Jesse Marsch's. Neither did he.
Well, the thing is that what was really impressive is, I think, giving Canada credit is important. They had a good game plan, and they started the game off well and had Morocco stifled. They didn't really know what to do. They stayed attacking. And, we asked the question, could they keep doing that? And they did, but I think the biggest issue for them is sort of the just sort of a human life thing is that you do a thing, the game plan is working, but then you still don't get all of what you wanted, right? So they didn't score. I think if they scored, they would have been able to maintain what they're doing, but they didn't score. And because they didn't score, I think they were fine with Morocco getting that first goal. But it was the fact that they kept doing what they were doing and they didn't get anything from it. Like, they didn't score. And because they didn't score, it didn't work, because at that point, Morocco was doing the same thing. Like, it was basically the meme I sent you guys. It was the Thanos thing. Hakimi was like, fine, I'll do it myself. And they ran they wasn't even hiding it. We're running everything down this right side, do something about it. And they couldn't. And they knew it was coming. And they said, hey, that first goal came. Hakimi did well. It was a very well set up goal. And then after that, they didn't get anything. Since they didn't get anything, I think you could see they got demoralized the more it went on. So that second goal, it was like, now what do we do? Because now your game plan worked part of the way, but now you're not. It's working only 50%. Like, it's not getting you what you need. And so, I'm going to give Jesse Marsch credit for the in-game stuff. His post-game comment was whatever. But, his in-game stuff.
I was just not going to mention that. I like Jesse Marsch, and I don't want to do too much hating on him, but that was wild what he said at the end of the game. That's for sure.
Well, the funny thing is, and I hate to be the guy, and I'm not going to bang on him for this, but in the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs, losing coaches have been using that as their way to feel better. What up, Lumen? Losing coaches have been doing that to make themselves feel better. What happened to, hey, man, we got outplayed? Like, the game plan wasn't wrong. And yes, if you say it incorrectly, you'll throw the players under the bus. But, I feel like this was kind of I got my game plan right, but we couldn't execute on the player side. We're not blaming the players. We're just saying that the other team was up for it, and what we wanted to do didn't work in that department. That's it, man. Like, analytically, stop it, man. Can we please stop that?
Yeah, my stats were better, and so I'm happier as a loser.
And the funny thing is, like, we also mentioned to each other in the chat, hey man, the score line, we had them winning by 3 goals. We basically got that right. It didn't unfold the way we thought it would, you know?
Oh yeah, not at all.
And that's crazy. But respect to Canada and the way they've played, they put and the depth they made it. Because I mean, not all hosts make it this far. But they lost to a team that was in the Continental Final and was in a World Cup semifinal. Like, you lost to a superior team. There's no shame in that. And I mean, if you're going to use anything, you can say, okay, well, we were missing our best player. You can say, okay, Alphonso Davies wasn't. You can use that, right? But analytics. I mean, if you're going to use something, at least that's a real thing.
I hear that, yeah.
At least that's real, because they couldn't score. Well, Alphonso Davies can create goals. We know that. So if you're saying you're missing him and we didn't score, okay, but don't give me analytics.
Yeah,
but credit to Morocco, and I'm gonna give this game because I know you haven't done the next game, right?
No, just started.
So credit to this game because they played football in this game. And I'll leave that there.
Yes, this is going to be a really, really nice segue, actually, instead of being a weird one. Lumen mentioned earlier that the Moroccan keeper was born in Montreal. Yeah. And now he's saying something about Igal. I don't know if you know about Igal. He's an Arsenal content creator. He's also on the Terrace. Sorry for the elaboration on Moroccan keeper. Just saw Igal clip on Marlowe who said French isn't French. I agree with Lumen here. He's speaking on how for example, the French national team has a lot of African-born players. And people are like complaining about it and saying that it's like not a thing. Say it as Marla, and he's talking about this right here. French isn't French, and Lumen doesn't agree with it. I agree with Lumen.
Was born in Brooklyn, New York for one day and then left immediately after. What are we talking about?
Erling Haaland was born in Leeds.
Like, what are we talking about? Well, not Harry Kane is Scottish, right?
Is he?
What? Stop
it doesn't bother me at all. And I think it was the Paraguayan coach that said that. Or no. It was Luis Chevalier also mentioned it. The famous Paraguayan goalkeeper that took free kicks and penalties and stuff. You know that guy? Uh-huh. He came out and mentioned something like this as well. That France is just a team of African players.
Born in France. Most of Morocco's team was born in France. Well, man, I was gonna be not serious, but I guess I gotta be serious on this one. Can we just take a second to pause on this one? Mexico's top goal scorer is Colombian.
Yeah, Quinones. Yeah,
he's Colombian, and his own country didn't accept him or give him an opportunity to play. He moved, played pro ball in Mexico. His wife is Mexican. The Mexican said, "Please come to us because you're here and you fulfill." Okay. But what are we talking about?
Yeah, I think it's nonsense. I mean, just to come up with anything that we can to slate people and to go against people or whatever. Like,
well, first of all, national borders are made up lines.
Yeah.
So teams are made up groups. So if you can make stuff up, as long as you fit in the rules of the made up stuff. Hey, the made up rule is you got to have one parent from there, or you got to be born in the place. If those are the things, if it's blood or land, right?
I thought it was citizenship. Like, I thought I could go to England and get citizenship and become an English citizen, having never played for another federation, and then go play for England. I thought it was that simple.
Well, in the Mexican, like in Quinones' case, that is exactly it. I don't know if every country has that. Now, I think the national teams have different rules, but the thing is the people found the rules and followed them. And here's the thing about national team football, especially France and Morocco. They're not picking randos. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not picking random people. Like, they have to know you're good. So, I mean, you're not good enough. Then are they going to find ways to make it work? Like, we're going to use Balogun as the example. They found a way to make him work, but the thing they found to make it work was legitimate.
Yeah.
Done. And if that person who's representing your country chooses to want to publicly represent your country, isn't that how it works anyways?
Yeah, that's also, that right there applies to club ball as well. There's all kinds of, I don't know how much of the transfer business you're paying attention to, but for example, Manchester United were trying to get Mateus Fernandes from West Ham, right? But he ended up going to Spurs, right? You know why? Because Mateus Fernandes told Manchester United that he was open to any other contract. If somebody else made his agent more money, he would go with them. So if a player doesn't want to come to the club, isn't fully committed to coming to the club, why would you bother, right? And the same is true the opposite is true, right? Of course, if someone wants to play for your nation and legally, technically it's okay, it works out, as far as the paperwork is concerned, then you're gonna, and if they're good enough, obviously, you're gonna let them play for your country.
Well, and to use your example for clubs, it's like the homegrown rule in England. Like a kid could play for your academy and be a part of your academy and never ever play for you and go somewhere and be homegrown for somebody else. Long as they were trained in the country, but the rule is the rule. Like, we can't just now, because then what it does, and this is why it's worth sort of, and I guess I'll put my period here, is then because then you have to define what somebody from that country looks like and is. And so you're telling me we there's a look for what somebody from France looks like, or Morocco, or the United States. So that means we have to be ancestral, and I don't mean ancestral. I mean ancestral, because that's the only way you get it, right?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Stop. I hear that. This is also another interesting point from Lumen. Should details of where they're from, I don't think is where they're born, I don't think is an issue. There's a line. Obviously, there's a line that that commentators should never cross about details about people's life or whatever, but where he's from, I don't think is too big of a problem. The fact that he's from Montreal but he's playing for Morocco, I don't think that's going to cause too much controversy. In a commentary for a game.
But Erling Haaland is really a more perfect example, because let's do 2 steps on him. He was born in Leeds because his dad was playing in Leeds at the time.
Or Leeds, yeah.
But then on the back of his jersey, he has his mom and his dad's last name, because he says, hey, 1, I could have played in England, but 2, I want to represent my mom and my dad, because that's how children identify. That's it. So if my parent is French, it is what it is, right?
Spot on.
Mbappe's parents, he was born in France. I think both his parents are not from France, but they lived there for a long time, and then he was born there. Guess what he is?
He's French.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Even Brahim Diaz. Let's use Brahim Diaz, because Brahim Diaz was born in Spain, and he had a chance to play for the Spanish national team, because this one he was at City. And what they saw is that he wasn't going to make the team. So his family said, hey, man, we think you can play for Morocco. Your family is Morocco. Would you want to do that? Brahim had a choice to say, hey, I can play for the country that I grew up with the kids that I knew, or I can choose the nation of my family and parents and blood. And that's what he did. I mean, yes, he chose it because he wanted to play, but that's what he could do.
There is that.
Aymeric Laporte. Aymeric Laporte is French. He was born in France.
I'm shocked he's still playing, by the way, for the national team.
and he's French and knew he would never play for France.
Right.
So he plays for Spain.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have an issue with any of it, to be honest with you. None of that bothers me whatsoever, especially because as an American, like we are a melting pot. Like, how many nationalities are here in America that have then become American? you know. And so no matter, you could be white, brown, orange, yellow, green, purple, and have an arm coming out of your face. If you're American, you're American, like whatever.
We don't care.
You know what I mean? But just to finish off the section on Morocco here, Lumen also mentioned, have they played anyone? Or will beating France be the, oh God, these guys are serious? Or do we already think they're serious?
Well, hold on. Let's look. I don't know. Did they beat anybody? Don't know.
They drew with Brazil. They beat Scotland. And I think they beat the Netherlands. Did they draw with Haaland?
Pens.
They beat Netherlands in pens. I mean, that's a scalp. I feel like that's a scalp.
And they beat Canada. But I mean, if we're gonna go there, right? I mean, if we're gonna throw shade, let's probably throw shade. We're talking about their. If we're gonna talk about their opponent, right? Well, France beat Iraq in Senegal
and Norway
and Norway, but a de-strengthened Norway in Sweden. I mean, if we're going by resumes, that's like not the most impressive thing either, right? What are we talking about?
Fair enough. No, I think Morocco are very strong.
Whoever's in front of you.
Yeah, I think Morocco are a very strong team, and I think that despite and a great way to say it is the best teams win in different ways, right? So they were out tactic in that first half. They didn't know how to respond really. Morocco in that first half couldn't get anything going. Made a switch and got the job done in the second half. I think that's a sign of a very strong team. Yeah. So the Morocco-France game is going to be absolutely amazing. I hope you're good as well, Mr. 420, and I hope you don't end up being Mexican at the end of the day.
Hey, well, we're going to talk about that, right? We hadn't talked about that.
We're definitely going to get into
I got some things that I'm concerned about, Mr. 420.
Yeah.
I shared a little bit with the boys, but I'm a little concerned, man.
I have my concerns as well. Good teams definitely find a way.
But and that's a segue because France did what they needed to do.
I can't get over this, man. Paraguay are a disgrace. I'm gonna come out and say it. You can, get on to me. People can come for me in the comments or whatever. Paraguayan people, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but your team did this. That was an embarrassment. It was disgrace.
They were anti-Canada. They did the exact opposite. Anti-Canada, Cape Verde, all of that.
It was an absolute and utter disgrace, if you ask me. And from the first whistle, you could tell that they went overboard. The coach said, all right, let's be physical. Let's, annoy them. Let's be pests. Let's make sure that they know you're there every single time. I understand it. Especially like if you're playing defense and you have a really good forward, you kick him a little bit, you pull his jersey a little bit, sure, you push him, you're grappling, don't make it comfortable for him. That's fine. And that was like the general goal or whatever, but they just went way too far, way too far. I think they've disgraced themselves on an international stage by just, the ref, early on, they realized this ref's a Looney Tune. Like early on, they realized this
no yellow cards, not one yellow.
I think early on they just realized this ref is not going to call a single thing. He's not going to do anything, and they're just all right. Let's kick the ever loving out of everybody. Let's rough some people up. Let's pull some jerseys. They're not pulling it.
He's punching people in the face and the ribs.
I mean, I get it, gamesmanship and everything. When you've conceded a pin, no, I'm talking about the specific incident after the pin was given. I understand gamesmanship and I understand trying to get in the taker's head and make the goalie think about it, vice versa or whatever. But going up to the penalty spot and putting a divot in the penalty spot, you're an asshole. Really?
With the referee standing there, Dembele laughed at him because he's like, "Man, what are you doing, man?"
And then they kicked Mbappe. They kicked Dembele's holding the ball. While the ref's looking the other way, he comes up and kicks Dembele in the back of the leg. I know it was a soft kick or whatever. He didn't come in and clobber him or whatever, and it was meant to just be a nuisance or whatever. But really, guys, are y'all children? Is this a U8 game? Are y'all serious?
Well, the funny thing was at the end, to just go to another kind of standout point, as Mbappe was going down the wing to end the game, like the dude literally balled up his hand and was swinging at him. And then at the end of the game, the keeper gonna stick his hand out to get a handshake. Are you serious? There's no way you think I'm shaking your hand after your dude literally punched me. What are you talking about?
I disagree with this, Lumen. I don't think you can blame the French players at all. I would actually congratulate the French players.
Yeah,
because in their shoes, I personally, I have a very bad temper. I would not have been able to keep my cool. And
that's kind of what they wanted.
Oh yeah. Like when Galarza punches me, I know it didn't hit him it didn't hit Mbappe in the face or anything, or it was just like a light punch on the arm or whatever. It's still a red card. It's still a serious foul play, a violent play when the ball is 20 yards ahead of them. And I would be getting pissed. I'd be in the ref's face. I'd be like, are you seriously going to let them do this? And then when I realized that he is seriously going to let them do this, I probably would have taken a red card because I would have retaliated.
And see that.
Mbappe was laughing in their face. And for me,
he should have.
I think that is very professional. I think that is very smart. I think that's like your only way to do it is just to be like, you guys are really this much clowns. I'm going to laugh in your face because you're a clown.
It's concerning, Jake, is your point is valid for the on-field composure. But if you look at any of the narratives out there now, they're like, well, should we question France? They didn't play football against us. Like, what are you talking about?
That was not a game. I've had that conversation too. I've had that conversation too. And you remember what I texted you after the game about?
Yeah. But like, it's a public narrative, because then there's a narrative, and we already know this dictator narrative exists against Mbappe, because now Mbappe not shaking the man's hand. Well, look at Mbappe. He's classless. Did you watch the game before?
I wouldn't shake his hand either.
He tried to punch me in the face. What?
There's no chance I'm shaking their hand.
And then accounted for gamesmanship. I don't know what game, unless we boxing. I don't know what gamesmanship, punching, swinging at my face does, because that ain't gamesmanship.
Is there gamesmanship in the UFC?
But in addition to that, and I hate to tinfoil it now, but it's a little bit of tinfoiling, because it really seems sketchy that they let all of that happen. Because essentially what happens is if any of those French starters respond, they're out of the next game. So even if they won, they're out of the next game, which affects the French chemistry going forward, because you want to affect the chemistry. So if their whole team is not available, instead of them winning the game, the narrative is now, are the French rattled because they couldn't be disciplined? Because at the end of the game, you see they had to separate them too, because they was ready to fight then. They're like, no, the game's over. We'll fuck you up now.
Yeah.
But
that's what he said. That's exactly what Mbappe said in the interview. He says, if they're going to say fuck you, I'm going to say fuck you right back.
And the thing is that the point is now, if you have this team mentally not right going into the next game, now the team is not right. And now the literally clear favorite is now shaken after the other team, that is the team of destiny, survived a game that they didn't get called some calls they should have been called, like the last kick of the ball, which was a clear foul. But so now you can start shifting that narrative. It's really weird, some of the conspiratorial breadcrumbs that are getting bigger that we can see.
Yeah, there's a clearer picture, isn't there, kind of coming together amongst the number of different games.
Because about Morocco, we already know Morocco shit houses, and they did it against Senegal. Who's to say they're not doing that in the next game? Because I feel fairly confident, sir. Morocco, they're like, hey, you know what? We probably can't beat France, and they're playing France in Boston. They shit house there.
I do not think Morocco, in my opinion, should and do have a much higher opinion of themselves than Paraguay obviously did. Okay,
I agree until I get the Senegal game.
Yeah, Morocco. Okay, I hear that.
No, I agree with you.
Saying.
I agree with you. I agree with you. If this was yesterday, and we were prognosticating for what was coming, none of us saw this.
No.
But after we've seen what happened there, and then we saw the game before where Morocco had 4 yellow cards in the first half.
Yeah.
And they had already made a sub.
Yeah.
And they made no substitutions early in the second half.
Right.
And then they're going into this next game, a game they already had 4 yellow cards. Those guys are going in on cards. You know what I'm saying? And if it's assumed they're not going to win. And the only reason I think Morocco is a good footballing nation. I would hope they go in to play football. But my memory is long enough to say when they went down to Senegal and the way their fans acted in Morocco is not above them. It's not above them to do it. Because Paraguay think about it. Paraguay just came off a game before they played France where they played football. They played football in that game. And now all of a sudden when you get to France, we don't know how to play football. After you watch Cape Verde say, hey, we're going to play. So we're watching teams that are underdogs play the game and have a good quality game and compete with the team. But for this team against this opponent, all of a sudden teams just turn all that off. Hey,
it's embarrassing.
I want football to be there, but I would not be surprised if Morocco come out dirty. Because it's there. Like we've already seen it. Like I said, the breadcrumbs are getting bigger.
No, Lumen's spot on right here, It's embarrassing is what it is. To think that Cape Verde have a higher opinion of themselves versus Argentina than Paraguay do.
Well,
really?
But here to add to that, Jake, the reason I'm agreeing with Lumen and what I'm saying is because we know that the French can make it through that. So if France just deal with Paraguay doing that, and then say Morocco, we're assuming they'll beat Morocco. Say Morocco does that, the next game would be either us, Belgium, Spain, or Portugal.
None of which are going to do that. None of those teams will do that.
I agree. But if France just came through 2 games where they got physically beat up and nothing was called, how do they show up in that semifinal? How do they show up?
Yeah.
How do they show up? Because, hey, man, what if I want Cristiano to play Messi in the final? Well, Portugal has some players that are known to, shithouse, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Spain plays physical.
Yeah.
Hey, man, Belgium, realistically, I'll leave them on my radar. Belgium can do it. They're old. They'll find a way to level the game. And the United States in the semifinal will be playing at home in Dallas. You think we're not getting friendly whistles?
Oh, we're definitely getting friendly whistles.
So if that is indeed the case, all you got to do is beat France up one more time. Just beat them up one more time.
I really hope that this tournament doesn't devolve into this kind of bullshit because it's been an amazing tournament. Here's
why I'm saying, and I'm not segueing, but because the Mexico-England game, man, all of the narratives connected to this shit is telling me that England is not going to win. And I think England is going to play their best game, and I don't think they're going to win because there's too much behind-the-scenes stuff going on.
God, I hope you're wrong, man. I
want to be wrong.
Yeah.
But the full narrative out there, now we've talked about the Azteca, but the full narrative is if England plays Mexico on a neutral site, England kicks their ass.
Yeah, for sure.
They kick their ass.
Yeah.
But now, England. Oh, well, are we segueing? I ain't gonna.
No, not yet. Not yet. Let's actually hold off on that.
I'll pause. I got you.
Big up Lumen for getting a little jab in here.
I'm telling you, get the towels.
Yeah. And then I do want to go back to this comment, Lumen. I disagree with this, man. You have to deserve my sportsmanship. You have to give to get. If you come out and you're a classless thug, an absolute disgrace who doesn't want to play the game and just wants to be a hack job, I'm not giving you any respect. I'm not giving you any sportsmanship. You didn't give me any sportsmanship, so you don't deserve any in return. You know, so if you're going to be an asshole and not play football and play slash them up, hack and slash like a Dynasty Warriors video game, then you deserve no respect, zero respect. And I'm saying it right here. Paraguay are a disgrace. They've embarrassed themselves on an international stage, and I have no sympathy for them. None. So if you are going to disgrace yourself, I'm going to treat you like a disgrace.
Now, here's the funny thing, Jake, and I'm going to co-sign what you're saying. I agree 100%. But here's the other thing that's interesting because, I didn't change. I didn't change.
And look at his next one.
Yeah, okay. But the funny thing is, I'm going to use, because I'm using the French, because they're labeling this and they're putting it around French. They want to be Mbappe, but they're kind of low-key saying the French are like this. But in the NBA Finals, go Knicks. Hold on, because why not, right? Even though we say Matt, hey, go Knicks.
There he is.
Right. So from that, when the Knicks beat the Spurs, and their star, the Spurs star, is Victor Wembanyama, an international French star, absolutely worthy of the plaudits and accolades he's gotten. He led his team off the court after they lost to the Knicks. Not a handshake, anything. The Knicks players shook the coach's hands, and everybody went in the media and said, hey, man, why didn't the Spurs shake the Knicks' hands? Everybody, excuses. Well, Wemby's French. You don't have to shake your opponent's hand. All of a sudden, it was cool not to shake hands. I need that same energy right now for what happened with France, because the Knicks didn't punch nobody in the face or do nothing dirty. And everybody was cool with them walking off. Everybody was cool with them walking off. And this is the same American sports media that's talking about it. So that's where my parallels are coming from. So if you spent the game punching and kicking me, and then you're going to come at me and talk about sportsmanship, man, you can kick every rock you can find with no shoes on, because what are you talking about? Stop it.
Well said.
Stop it.
Well said. And amidst all the stories and all the craziness, I feel like the things that are coming out of Brazil, Norway are like fun. The whole Haaland and Vinicius reenacting the white chicks. Have you seen that?
That's hilarious.
That is absolutely hysterical. Me and Lauren were talking last night about how absolutely insanely hilarious it would be if during the walkouts before the national anthem, Haaland came out looking like one of the white chicks, and Vinny come out in a suit looking like that, and they were holding hands or whatever during the walkout. That would be both said they wanted to do it. Hysterical. That would be so funny.
You know what's funny about that is, and my 2 years ago, my cousin who went to see his shoe, I told him about you. He's like, yo, man, I got to check out show out. He didn't even want to see it because of me. It was because of you, and you went to see his shoe. But anyways, the disrespect, but the funniness, I get it. It's funny because he was watching a USA game, and this guy's an American football guy. He played football, American football guy,
sure. And
he was into the game. He was like, yo, man, this is really exciting. And he said, you know what? And he likes Erling Haaland because he went with me to a game when City played Celtic at Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill. Yeah, and the City team was there the whole time. And it's funny because he kind of knew who Haaland was, but this was before, this was, I think, Haaland's second season with the team. No, third season at that time. And people knew him, but they didn't really know him. He's not he wasn't the star he is now. And he watched him. He's like, that dude is giant. I'm like, yeah, man. Because, we got to kind of say hello to them before the game or whatever as they were training, because I went to training stuff. Yeah. And Haaland got on the field and he's like, hey, man, that dude is that big doing that? I was like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah, that's my guy right there. Because, he kind of defies, the nature of being big that way and moving the way he does, right? And so he said, man, you know what? The thing I like about Haaland, though, yeah, he's big and he's strong and he's imposing and he could be a serious guy, but he just looks like he's out there having fun. He just looks like he's just a kid. and he's just goofing around and he's happy. And I'm like, he is. Like, if you follow, I mean, yes, like, for example, the funny thing is the narrative about him and Gabrielle about to play each other, right? And he gave Gabrielle the biggest compliment. He said, I'm looking forward to it. He's like, I love playing against that guy. He's like, yes, on the field it's serious and stuff, but there's a respect because he knows how good he is and he knows how good he has to be to perform against him. And, you know, it's league stuff, but now they're performing nationally. And the thing is, Haaland, Haaland is basically Goku to Zlatan's Vegeta.
Yeah.
Like, because Goku don't care. He just be like, hey, you know, you want to fight? Cool, I'll fight with you. And he plays in that way where there's a freedom because we've talked about it. Like, for example, Martin is the leader of the team. And, you know, Martin has to be a little serious, and I get it. And I, you know, sometimes I feel for him because when you're the captain of your club team and your national team, you kind of got to be that square guy all the time, you know, so you really don't get to fully enjoy it, which is why I think Kevin De Bruyne doesn't like being captain of his team. But with that, Erling Haaland is having fun. So they said, and he did, I think it was either a Snapchat or a TikTok where they said, hey, Messi scored. And Erling was like, I guess I got to get me some too, right? Because I know, you know, they're Mbappe and Messi have 7, and Haaland, I think, is on 5, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think Vinny is on 4. And those guys are just like, hey, man, we need to score. Like, Haaland is playing with house money because no one expects them to be there. No, right. So he doesn't care. I mean, clearly he wants to win. It's not like he's not a competitor, and if they lose the game, they're going to be bothered. Like when they lost to France, they were bothered. They didn't win the game. But, hey, man, nobody expects us to be there. And so, you know, they're having fun. And the fact that they're in the middle of trains and in Times Square and in the stadium doing their row. And for some people, it's annoying. and for some people, it's fun.
Yeah.
And other countries have copied them.
Right.
And so you look at that and you say, you know what? One of the things about the World Cup we love most is the culture. And Erling Haaland is kind of the embodiment of the culture because it's true. I have never met a Norse person that wasn't like, kind of like, you know, they're kind of like, you know, just easy going.
Happy-go-lucky, yeah.
And then you think about their country. Their country has like a super high happiness factor. They live in the cold and it's like dark a lot in the winter and sunny in the summer. And they're just like, So, hey, man, respect to Norway. And I think this will be the game we'll get, right? It's a game, right? But yeah, I think this will be the game of the day. But we were like 1,000% wrong yesterday about how the games would go. So, hey, man, I really hope this will be open.
I don't know they'll do the row after losing to Brazil.
No, they didn't do the row after they lost to France. They didn't do that after. Right. You know what? I think they might.
They might have. Yeah.
It's the end.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's the end.
And you know, in spite of myself, in spite of my team affiliation, I should say, and you know, Lauren through this World Cup has actually been, she's become an even bigger fan of Erling Haaland for all of these reasons, right? And obviously, you would expect me to hate him, to not like him at all, just because
you've never hated him.
The misery and the pain he's caused me since he's come to the league, you know. But I'm actually a very, I think they might do it afterwards. I'm actually a very big fan of Erling Haaland because you said it a minute ago. He embodies everything that the people at home, you know, should, or at least what I believe. I'm not going to speak for everyone, but what I believe this game is really about. See, even my mom's a fan of Erling Haaland. You know, it's that kind of boyish. He's not taking it too seriously. He doesn't take himself too seriously. He's kind of, I wouldn't say he's the antithesis of Zlatan, but he's like the unserious jester version of Zlatan. You know what I mean? Right. Zlatan is funny and fun because he's always Zlatan. Serious. He's always serious like that. He's always, I am Zlatan. Zlatan is better than everyone. You know, Zlatan owns Chelsea, like that kind of stuff. Love that. Haaland is like, don't take me seriously at all because I'm not taking me seriously at all. Yeah. You know, and he, like you said, he's having so much. He's just having so much fun.
Yeah,
you can see it. And
he's
at the end of the day,
cowboy hats and Viking hats.
Yeah, man. At the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about? Isn't that what we're here for? To be entertained. And when somebody who we're watching is having that much fun, you know, and I think also, like, I think it would be a little bit different if he was ass, you know, if he was just like some average player or whatever.
No,
but
he's good.
He's in the spotlight. He's a superstar. And we expect massive things from him.
And he delivers.
And sometimes you might be like, oh, that pressure might get to people. He doesn't give a shit.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
And like your mom said, he wins, though. He wins.
Yeah.
This man has literally won everything.
All of it. Yeah.
He's breaking records. Like, this man, like, look at it. Like, they're talking about Mbappe World Cup goals. And then they talked about, they switched it to international goals. Haaland has scored the same number of goals as him and played 20 less games. Like, the guy, it's nothing like your superstar delivering and being likable. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's people who don't like him, but you know, and the thing is, people also miss, he has his moments because he's super serious, man. Like, on the field, you can see he's serious.
Yeah. Also, I think that one thing that another thing that really kind of made me like him a lot is they asked him, who's the toughest defenders you've ever played against?
Right.
And you know exactly what he said.
He called him, man.
He called him out. And Lauren has also heard, and I think I've heard a little bit as well, that Haaland and Gabrielle are actually like friends. Like,
they're friends.
They're actually like good friends or whatever. And that even that right there is a great example, because after the last game that Arsenal played City, and there were like all those pictures of Gabrielle like almost bending Haaland over, like pushing him so hard that they're like both about to fall over. And Haaland put it on Snapchat and says, "I have a wife, mate." It's like, that stuff is hilarious. Yeah, stuff's absolutely hilarious. And I'm looking forward to seeing them going at it again today, you know, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. This matchup is pretty even, you know. Brazil have not necessarily lit it up. I have heard through the grapevine that Gabriel Martinelli might be getting a start today after that goal.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What up, SC? Hope you're well. That's what I've heard. Again, you know, it's on the internet.
Does he really not like Endrick that much, man? Like, and I'm not hating on Martinelli, but like, Endrick is the reason Martinelli was able to get what he got. What we doing, man? We really not gonna play him?
We might have to put in a call to Don Carlo and be like, "Yo, what do you do?" What?
Or he's using him as a super sub.
I guess. That whole thing is really, really weird to me. But I mean, Martinelli, sure, why not deserve a start?
Martinelli's
you know?
played well. When he's coming, he's been a spark. But we
absolutely.
all know, as watching club for some time and just enjoying the game, that guys who are super subs aren't always the best starters.
Yeah,
you're going against even legs.
Trust me, I know.
It's even legs. It's not you're going against tired legs. You're going against even legs.
This particular player, I'm very well aware.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think that's going to be a very, very fun game. Definitely going to be difficult.
A quick thing. FootMob sponsor us because they did a cool thing. You know how Google does stuff with their banner? If you go to FootMob and you open the bracket for the World Cup, on the Brazil-Norway game, since it's the first one, they have a Viking ship rowing across the fixture. Absolutely.
That's so cool.
Even though if I was Brazilian, I might feel away.
Yeah.
I might feel away.
No, what they need to do is have the Viking ship rowing past that giant statue of Jesus in Rio. So just have both.
I saw a video where it showed the Vikings sailing, but it was in the Amazon with like crocodiles.
Yeah, Lauren showed me that. That was so cool. That was so cool. I did like that video. That was pretty awesome.
That's cool. Like I'm with that. But I think it'll. I mean, if I'm going with just the history, I think Brazil should win the game. But here's my thing, and I think this is the linchpin. And so, because I don't like particularly have any players that I'm for or opposed to. I've said this about Martin Odegaard a couple of times. If Martin Odegaard makes those passes that he's missed in the last ones, they win this game. They win this game because the movement that Norway plays up front, like Odegaard has missed so many passes that would like have shut teams down, and they still score bunches of goals. If Odegaard just summoned for one game his inner KDB and just make
or at least the 22-23, roll it back to the 23 season.
One of those. And because the thing is, the ball has to be at his feet quick, and he's not been doing that. The passes are there. Your guys can outrun those guys. And their midfield is old. Like the Brazil midfield is old.
It's what he's very, very familiar with too.
Just
Bruno G and Casemiro, even Fabinho. He's very, very familiar with these guys. He knows how they play, what they do. He knows how to do it. So yeah, I think if Norway are going to win, if Norway do win today, it's going to have to be through Odegaard. I agree with that 100%.
Like, I mean, Brazil are heavy favorites, but
I wouldn't put them as heavy.
Hold on,
favorites.
man. Check this out. Didn't know this. A match insight. Brazil lost all 6 World Cup knockout ties against European opponents since 2002. I did not know that.
Also, Norway, this was one of my 3 facts in my 3 facts video. Make sure you go check those out over on the Shorts tab.
Sure. It's done great.
One of those facts was that Norway have never lost to Brazil in a World Cup match.
Oh, how many times have they played?
4 or 5. It's only like 3 or 4. It's not a lot, but it's still a stat.
It still exists, yeah.
To not advance to the greatest World Cup nation is a stat worth. Well,
it's funny because I just gave we just shared the 2002 fact, and the last World Cup I have is 98, and Norway won 2-1. Yeah. And in that game, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Cafu, Roberto Carlos, all of them were in that team. So was Haaland's dad, Sorloth's dad, and one of the other Norwegian players' dad. There's 3 of the Norwegian players' fathers. Yeah, SC. I was about to shout that one out for you. Yeah, COYL means come on, you Lions. Yeah, I was about to shout that out. But yeah, 3 of the Norwegian players who are in the current team. Oh wow, yeah.
Versus Brazil in '98. Their fathers, I should say. Yeah. Man. It's gonna be a fun game. I'm excited.
Ali was in this team too.
Nah, don't do that. Don't beat yourself up. 420. Don't beat yourself up.
Hey man, these acronyms are crazy.
This parlance, yes, absolutely. But man, I'm looking forward to that one. Gonna be a lot of fun. But the big game, all the stories. We're ready,
Mr. 420. We have arrived.
All of the controversy, all the blue pills, all the altitudes, all the travel bullshit, all the hotel stuff. Do you see the thing I just put in right before we went live? The Instagram post I put in the chat right before we went live about all of the Mexicans outside of the hotel last night, and it was the scene from Deathly Hallows 2 where all the Death Eaters attack the Hogwarts castle.
Way to bring that literature in. Remember, my man Jake is a writer. Go check out Michael books, man.
Find me on Amazon. I got some books on Amazon. Just type in Jacob Michael on Amazon, and there's some books for you, for sure. We live and learn. Yes, fireworks. There was a lot of fireworks in America last night. Absolutely. Happy birthday, America! Again, of course. But man, which one do I even point on? Because first of all, not being able to travel, the travel stuff was bullshit. Not letting them travel the day of was bullshit.
Well, yeah. Well, real quick before that, do you know the last time that England played Mexico in the World Cup?
1986.
July 16th, 1966.
Oh wow! Really?
Last time they played them.
Really?
And they won 2-0.
Okay.
Last time they played them.
So it's a reverse because that was in England. Yeah.
Yep.
That was in England, and now it's a reverse. They're in Mexico. They're in Mexico now. Obviously.
Which either means 2 of 3 things. 1, England wins again, and they win the World Cup and is coming home. Mr. 420 UK, and good be for you. Or Mexico wins and they win the World Cup.
Talk Sport says it actually takes a few days for altitude to kick in. They'll be fine. In and out. SAS mission. That's funny.
Well, yeah, but to go back to your first point, I'm disappointed in the situation because FIFA allowed the United States to have Iran be based in Mexico and fly back and forth twice to the United States to play a game to then leave immediately after the game. And that was fine and sanctioned. But now when England says, hey, we wanted, I don't know if they said it that way, but I'm sure legally they probably did. We want to do what Iran did. Yeah. We want to be based in the United States. We want to fly in the day of the game, play the game, and then leave. Can we do that? And they say no.
Nope.
Then the second thing, because I don't know, we'll get your other points because I'll get to the points to the match rules.
Oh no, I was just saying that I was just kind of got to go through the different ones. First of all, obviously England is never going to be able to hide where their hotel was.
No.
Obviously that was never going to happen.
No.
And we obviously expect there to be fireworks outside the hotel at 3 a.m. Duh.
Yes.
And what was the other one? God, well, there was another one that I was just about to go to. Obviously, the blue pills thing. We mentioned that yesterday, and
I'm not going to go there anymore.
Our jokes yesterday. If you want to see if you want to hear a bunch of jokes about little blue pills, just check out yesterday's episode. But then there's the I remember the time change controversy was so crazy to me, and it pissed both teams off. They pissed both teams off trying to do this, and it's like, I get it. It's a 1 a.m. kickoff for the English, and it's tough, but this game has been scheduled for months for one, but I understand. I get it, trying to move it up, but there's such a huge disruption, and I'm kind of starting to lean towards your tinfoil. Just because there's so much random nonsense going on, and literally they're stacking everything. It feels like they're stacking everything against the English in this one.
Well, and here's the thing, because the time change thing was interesting because I try to catch some of the other stuff. So ESPN FC had one of the reporters in Mexico, and he was like a beat reporter, but he was reporting the game, and he said FIFA had agreed to move the game up to a noon kickoff because then it would be a 7 o'clock game. And FIFA was like, yeah, this is good because they would make more money on advertising because they could charge more, and it would be prime time in England. So they would literally do exactly what FIFA does, which is make money. They would have made more money. And so, and then what it would also have done, which apparently the local authorities wanted this to, is that they would be able to better do crowd control, because dealing with the crowd from 4 p.m. is a lot easier than dealing with the crowd from 10 p.m.
It's about, because two people were trampled after the Ecuador game. And so what FIFA cited was, we don't want to have even more drunk idiots. So if we move it up, people will have less time to drink, and it might be safer.
So those things logically made sense and monetarily made sense on FIFA. So apparently, because it got leaked, that's why FIFA was like, no. And so they left it where it was, because then he said, well, what about the fans? Well, I'm going to go ahead and be 1,000,000,000% feeling safe on this. If you told the Mexico people who had tickets to this game that the game was at 2 a.m., they were showing up.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care about their employer or anything like that. So this what about the fan is garbage, because they could have kicked this game off on the moon and they was going to be there. So I don't know what they're talking about. The fans were going to be at the stadium, and they were not going to complain, because the Mexicans, because first, Mexico was undefeated in the World Cup at Stadio Azteca. Second, they show up, even if they're not good. There's been years we've seen Mexico has not been good. That stadium is full.
Yep.
So with that being the case, it did the what about the fans part is garbage, utter nonsense, and we know that's not real. So it begs the question, which I get you about leaving it at 8. With all of those things, if we're using the scales of what drives FIFA, which is money and PR, all the scales are leaning towards an earlier kickoff. So why not move the game earlier? Like, what was sufficient enough? Because things getting leaked is not enough. What was sufficient enough to make you give up money to leave the kickoff late? Well, what was enough? And the only thing I can think of is money. But not public money.
Right.
Because there's no way the FIFA number counter said, hey man, well, the ads in England would cost 1, but if we move it at 12, it's going to cost 7, because it would be amplified. It's prime time in England. So with that, and they count money before they have it. So they already knew, and that means they had advertisers lined up. And you're going to intentionally turn down that money? FIFA? They got that money from somewhere else.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I can agree with that for sure. And Mr. 420 is talking about how the fans might not have been able to get to the game itself. I mean,
I don't believe it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's a bit of a stretch. I don't believe it? It's a bit of a stretch for me.
Here's why I don't believe it. Because in New York City, when it was announced globally that you could not drive to the MetLife Stadium to get there, there's literally bunches of foreign fans walking to the stadium. Don't hand me that if a fan is going to go to a World Cup game, they're not going to get there.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it.
Do whatever you got to do to get there. That's for sure.
I don't believe Mexico, and I'm Mexican. I don't believe it.
They'll definitely get. Maybe 420 might have been referring to the English fans, but
hey man, if I'm being honest, and I'm being very honest about this, I don't know if I want to be an English fan in that stadium. For two reasons. If Mexico wins, hey, skedaddle. If Mexico loses, because they're not English fans ain't showing up in the stadium without England stuff on.
Yeah,
what?
That's definitely definitely a worry. Definitely a worry, I would say.
Mom, here's me. My if I had actual tinfoil hat on, I would put it on, because hey man, this is why I think England is going to play their best game ever, and they're going to lose, and it'll be a questionable loss because Mexico don't lose in Azteca, and I'm gonna just leave it like that.
Yeah. So what do you feel about, and I'll kind of bite on that right there. What do you feel about this whole narrative that, oh, it's 2 in 86, they haven't lost in 50 years, or they have only lost twice in 50 years, but oh, they played El Salvador and Panama and Bolivia, and there's only like 4 European teams in that run, you know, and they've played the USA and and it's a bunch of Puerto Rico, and then they played a bunch of no names, and so that doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect this game at all. How do you feel about that?
My retort to that would be, when the United States plays someone in Lumen Field, do we care who the opponent is? When England plays someone in Wembley, do we care who the opponent is? When Germany plays someone in Allianz, do we care? When Spain plays someone in the Bernabeu, stop it. We don't care who the opponent is. They lose. That's what we know. They lose. And the thing is that we're also contextually robbing what the opponent is, because we're saying names based on who they are today.
Right.
We're not talking about who they were before. Norway beat Brazil. And we got it. Last time they played them, they beat Brazil. And you're like, oh, well, well, look at the Brazil team. They haven't been that great. And then I named the players on the team. And now that victory is a very different. They beat Brazil. A little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit bigger.
So don't do that. Don't do that. Stop it.
Yeah, I hear that for sure. And it's wild. It's wild that, and I guess it is a World Cup match, and so it's kind of, goes with the territory of being such a high profile thing, that all the noise around this game has nothing to do with like what's actually going to happen on the pitch, and I'm very interested to see the lineup from England, of course.
That will matter.
Declan Rice has come out saying, I don't know if you saw the
is he
quote.
Playing?
I don't know, because that's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to mention, the quote where he said, I can do it for the team. I've been giving it for the team, but I'm in an immense amount of pain. When a player comes out and says that, for me as a coach, I'm just like, all right, man,
you got to sit him.
we can handle this without you on this.
So
one,
real quick, Jake, I know you've been good about not putting the Arsenal hat on. As an Arsenal supporter, do you want him to play?
No, I don't.
Want him to play?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Because this is the most cinematic movie script. Hey man, he about to tear something in this game kind of thing. This is literally reading that. This is reading.
If there was a tweet that came out that said Saka and Declan Rice went home and went back to London before this game, I would rejoice. And
they would get eviscerated in the media.
Lambasted. They would be absolutely lambasted. But I, as an Arsenal fan, would love that. Because I've already read a thing that said Declan's not even going to play in the first month of the season. Already.
Yeah, he's very much like Rodri, where there's probably a surgery waiting for him when he gets back.
Well, here's the thing that I'm not sure anyone's talking about when it comes to fixture overload and how much these guys have played. If you look at the Arsenal team, in these past 3 seasons, man, all of them have given everything. Saka's given his hamstrings. Saliba's got a back surgery waiting on him when he gets back. Like, they've given everything in the last 3 seasons to get this title, like everything that they've got to get this title over the line. So, of course, some of them are flagging. Some of them have long-term injuries. Because we've literally given our soul to get this title over the line. So, of course, they're flagging now. And going forward, I think that Saka should be rested for like a month. So, and yes, I think that it could be a tough start to the season for Arsenal because of this. But I definitely think their long-term health should be prioritized over the beginning of Arsenal's season. I think half the squad from last season should get a month-long rest, should get long rests into the beginning of the season. Guys like Mikel Merino can come in and
should be able to.
He's been coming on for Spain. So he should be
a pro. But he's a pro.
He should be able to come in and pick up that slack. We might even be buying Bruno Guimaraes. He could come in to pick up that slack. I don't think there's a problem with that at all. And I definitely would have no issue if Rice does not play tonight in this game. Or if Saka didn't play tonight in this game. Tuchel seems to love Nani Madueke, so let him play. You know what I mean? Get Eze in there.
All 3 of those players are yours.
For F's sake, get Eze in the lineup, bro. He did not kill himself to get Arsenal over this line. He came in and didn't play as much as we might have. He didn't play every game. Yes, he played more than he was used to, as we mentioned in some of the other shows back during the season, but he has not given his hamstrings for the title for 3 straight seasons. And so he's still fresh. Well,
I agree with this one. I for sure Kane is going to score. Kane is a machine. He's a machine.
I don't know about England plus 1.5, but Kane to score for sure.
But Kane is, we've given him the plaudits, but if there's anyone that is head and shoulders the best England player, it's Kane.
Yeah, period. For sure. I don't know how I feel about a watch along. I've been working, during the day, and so I haven't been able to do watch alongs for the midday games. I don't know about this one either. I don't know about Mexico, and we'll see how I'm feeling later on today. But yeah, I think that you can easily start Johnny Stones, as we mentioned yesterday. Easily play Anderson. Because he loves playing Anderson as the deep lying midfield progressor of the ball kind of thing, and we obviously have spoken on how I feel about that, and what they could do in the midfield. But I think with the circumstances handed to you, if you're going to be playing Rice at right back anyway, like if that's what you're going for anyway, just sit him, man. You're trying to tell me that John Stones is not a better defender than Declan Rice? What are we doing? I love Declan Rice. He's an absolute monster, and he can play anywhere on the field for me. He can play in the goal for me because I think he's an incredible player. But John Stones, that doesn't mean that John Stones is some mug, as they say in England. He's a fantastic player, and he knows how to invert into. He damn near invented it. Like he was Pep damn near invented the inversion of the right defender, and he's the guy that was doing it.
He's the prototype.
It seems natural. And if you're gonna tell me that you've got Ezri Konsa and Mark Gahey and John Stones in front of them as a center defensive midfield, I'd be like, yeah, all right. I'd be like, that is just fine. You know what I mean? And so I think the fix is natural. The fix is there for Tuchel, but I have my doubts over what he's actually going to do.
Hey, Jay, give me 1 second. I got to answer this call real quick.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. And he's definitely not going to be putting Trevor Chalobah there. You know what I'm saying? Because we've seen, I mean, why wouldn't you, though? Like, that's who you brought in. Tuchel brought Trevor Chalobah in. But he's not. I would be shocked if he started at right back tonight. So I think the answer for England is definitely to bring Johnny Stones into the lineup. And I mean, you can still play Anderson, but I'm very interested to see if Eze plays over Anderson or not Anderson, Morgan Rogers, like who the third midfielder will be. Obviously, Bellingham's going to play, and it's looking like Anderson is obviously going to play. But Morgan Rogers didn't really impress the last time Rice didn't play, and they had a different kind of feel in the midfield versus Panama, I believe it was. And Morgan Rogers didn't really show up. So the question is, does Tuchel give him another opportunity in the middle there beside Bellingham, or do we see Eze from the start? Which I'm kind of surprised we haven't yet. And I think that this could be Eze's opportunity. He is a moments player, as we know, and you need to capitalize on your moments in these kinds of games. I don't think that, even though Ghana kind of showed the blueprint, Panama kind of showed the blueprint for how to play against England, I don't necessarily think Mexico are going to play that way. I don't think it's going to be park the bus, sit back, because Mexico, I don't know if quietly is the right word. I'm sure it's been shouted about, but Mexico have yet to concede a goal. They've won 4 games in a World Cup like they have not done in a long, long time. The Quinto Partido curse is broken. Right. And what that actually means in English, it translates to the 5th game curse. And what it means is they weren't playing in a 5th game. They hadn't had a 5th game in the World Cup in who knows how long it was. Right. And so now they have a 5th game. They've broken a curse. They're at home. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. So I would be shocked to see Mexico park the bus. Shocked.
Nah, they're playing. They're not afraid of anybody.
Yeah, they're coming at it. And so I think that'll suit England. I think it'll suit them just fine. And I was mentioning how I think Eze should start over Rogers as the third midfielder.
I would have I heard your back 4. I would have Stones, Konsa, Gahey, and O'Reilly. And then I would have Anderson, and I'd have Bellingham as your 8. And I would play Eze in the middle with him. And then you got Gordon on the wing, Kane. But who's the other winger?
It's probably going to be Madueke again, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and Madueke. I don't understand that, but hey, man, if that's what he likes.
Or and see, here's something that's kind of a long running theme in my head, and you having coached, before can definitely kind of relate to this. Why are wingers in the game today stuck on one side?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Can Rashford not play right and Gordon play left?
Well, I mean, this is as a player as well. It's about scoring. It's about they're favoring their stronger foot being on the inside nearest to the goal. But it's funny because Pep did this a number of times with Doku and Savinho, where he would swap them, because he would play Savinho on the left, on the right wing, and Doku on the right, and then he would swap because Doku literally could play both wings, but Savinho couldn't. because Savinho would have to cross the ball, and he's clearly lacks all the confidence in the world on his right foot. So he kind of just became a stuffed shirt on that side. But I mean, you should be able to do that. You should be able to swap, and swapping that swaps what you do for defenders. I think Madrid has also done it where I think Vinny and Rodrigo have switched sides, and they do what they need to do. I know of Mbappe, I mean, obviously he favors the left, but he can play across the front. And I think one of the things you can do is just go at him in that way where you just move the guy. Because I think Dembele has done that too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean.
Dembele is famously two-footed.
Yeah, so, I mean.
But shouldn't they all be? Like, you guys are professionals. You guys are getting paid ridiculous amounts of money. Shouldn't, like, I was halfway decent with my weak foot, and I wasn't getting paid. You know, you guys should be amazing with both feet.
But we all, if we're gonna call out both footedness, Lionel Messi is famously left-footed.
I hear that. But it just seems to me in the Premier League, especially that coaches don't think there's even Arteta, even Mikel Arteta, the king of versatility, the guy who loves to buy one player that can play 6 different positions, you know, the guy who buys 17 left backs because they can all play across the back line. He doesn't really, like, you don't see Martinelli starting on the right. You don't see Leandro Trossard starting on the right. You know what I mean?
I think he doesn't practice them there either. I think that's the other issue with coaches where they don't practice their guys like that. I know when I coached, I used to practice guys like that. Because, I mean, obviously coaching a high school team, you know, you have where, hey, man, you're trying to go to college. I need you to be able to use both feet for you. And when I was at Belmont Abbey, I mean, you know, obviously following the direction of Coach Keaton, I mean, he had a system, but you always wanted to challenge the guys who played on the wings to do that, even though, like, when you're playing like a 4-4-2, it's kind of different because that's more about passing than scoring in that sense. So I kind of get where maybe there's an apprehension, but like they're clearly playing wingers. They're not playing like left and right midfielders. They're not doing that. So, you know, I think there's a sort of a different thing to that dynamic.
But for me in the World Cup, you know, it's about your best players performing, getting your best players on the field, right?
Yeah.
Madueke is not one of England's best players, just simple as. And so can't Gordon play right and Rashford play left? Tuchel clearly likes Gordon. He rates Gordon higher than I do, and obviously he's a coach, so it doesn't really matter what I think. But
what's produced?
Exactly. If you're going to play Gordon came on and got the 2 assists, so naturally you might think he deserves to start.
Or stick Rashford on the left. I mean, on the right. Exactly.
Like Rashford's even tried to play down the middle, and there was that whole thing a few years ago where he was like, I'd rather play down the middle. These guys can do it. These guys can play both sides. Come on.
To further support your point, Harry Kane doesn't care where he is on the field. Harry Kane will go out on the right.
Yeah, so I don't see why persisting with something that has not worked because you don't think these guys who are getting paid stupid money can ball out on their weak foot. And it's the same thing. Like if I'm if I'm defending Bukayo Saka, I'm trying to show him to the byline so that he doesn't get the ball on his left foot. Because you know what? He's always on the right wing. He's always looking to cut back and get a good ball with his left, like 90% of the time. You know, you never see Saka on the left wing. You know, but does that mean he doesn't have a right foot? No. I'm just you know, it's kind of what's happened in the game, you know, from what they just don't play on the other side. And it's kind of confusing to me because I definitely think that any winger, if you're going to be a touchline winger of any kind, you should be able to do it from both sides.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I mean, you're stronger on one side, and so you're looking at the danger the person poses. But yeah, man. You know, I didn't notice. I mean, real quick aside, Mexico hasn't allowed any goals. They've not conceded any goals in the tournament. But then all of a sudden now we're not going to ask about who they played, which is South Africa, South Korea, Czechia, and Ecuador. We're not asking them questions, right? And then we got whereas England played Croatia, Ghana with a draw, Panama, and DR Congo who played up. I hope this feels like it's going to be a good game because Mexico is not sitting back at home.
No.
But and this is why I think this will be England's best game, which I kind of started with. But I feel like they're not going to win. I think they should win? I think they're the better team. But I was out and out wrong yesterday. I thought France was going to walk. I was wrong, but I also didn't think Paraguay was going to, decide to be like,
embarrass themselves.
The dude from Cobra Kai sweeping the leg. But but I also thought, Morocco was going to do something, and we got the scoreline, but not the game. Right. And so with that being said, I think England wins this game. I think I in my brain, my smart brain says England wins, but there's too many things pointing at Mexico winning this game, man. It's too many. And this is not to like hate on the English. It's just if I was betting money, I wouldn't bet on England because I feel like this is not a safe one, since the little bit of money that I would put on the game doesn't match the advertising money that FIFA turned down to keep the game at 8:00. So that money they still made. Anybody who believes they didn't make that money has lost their mind.
Yeah, definitely going to be tough for the English. I think it's obviously the toughest game for both teams, Mexico and England. So it's definitely going to be a very, very tough match. I think that if England just quiet the crowd, man, that's got to be the approach. Just come out of the gate like a house on fire and score early and get the crowd to kind of go the other way and start putting the pressure on. Get it nervous in the stands. Get how it, especially at the Emirates, we know how this works. When it's like there's pressure on the team to win and it's not going well, and maybe we concede a goal and then it gets real quiet and it's like oh shit. That's what England need to do. I think that's the way forward. Early.
Well, and if we're doing the tinfoil omens, it's supposed to rain during the game. The English should be fine. Yeah. Mexico hasn't conceded any goals, but Harry Kane is good for one. He's going to score, so that's dead too. And it seems the referee is from Australia. I don't know if that means anything, but that you got the former British prison colony out there. So the Union Jack is out there somewhere, right? So this is good. What would disappoint me, because I guess we have to do both sides, is if Mexico did sit back and England did sit back. I'd be very disappointed in seeing a game like that.
Yeah, I agree. After all this build-up, I'm hoping for a barnstormer, hoping for fireworks like we had all of last night for for America's birthday. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up right there. It's certainly been a good show. Certainly going to be a great day in the tournament, I believe. Two very, very spicy looking games. Commiserations for Canada. Congratulations for Morocco. Paraguay, you are a disgrace of a team. And France, march on, did what they had to do. Hopefully the English will as well. Because as much as, obviously I'm cheering for USA, I want the England guys to do well, obviously, since that's the league I watch, and I want them to do well. And big up Erling Haaland. I wouldn't mind seeing Norway win either, to be honest with you. Despite my guys on the Brazil team, I hope that's a fun match as well. So we certainly thank you for being here. Big up the chat every single time. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for being here as well. Make sure you're liking. Make sure you are subscribing. Share it on the socials. Tell your mom, your grandma, your dog, your kids, neighbors, uncles, cousins, favorite teacher, all that good stuff. Make sure you got that notification bell on. Thanks again. And we'll see us next time.